Okay, we're learning about Pidyon Ben. So we discussed this a few days ago, but it's an interesting thing. Somebody born with two heads, you know, how many Pidyon Bens do you have to do? So the Gemara tells a story. It wasn't Rabbi Yirmiyah Shaila, but the Gemara tells a story that Plimu, a Tana, asked Plimu, his name was Plimu, yes, his Rebbe a question. A baby that's born with two heads, how many Pidyon Bens do you do? So about tefillin. Yes, about tefillin. So he said to him, either prove that such a thing exists, or you're going to be excommunicated for coming up with such a foolish question. So what happens, it says, all of a sudden, they say Eliyahu Novi was the one that did it. He came and he said, my wife gave birth to a kid with two heads, so what do I do with the Pidyon Ben and things? So they realized it could be. But there's Taisus over there, the Gemara Menachos. Taisus over there says such a story it never happened such a thing that somebody is born with two heads. But Lepel, they say there's a medrash they bring down that Ashbadai, he was the chief of the Shedim, he once brought out from underneath the earth a person with two heads before Shlema Melech, and the guy got married and had kids, so you see such a thing is possible to exist. And then they bring down also some people did see people with two heads. It was a very rare occasion anyway. So then the pearl. What they would do is they would put it, according to the poskim, they would put on tefillin on both heads. Just the head tefillin. It's the same thing if you had a Siamese twin. In fact, they bring down in the chuvas, there was somebody who saw a Siamese twin, they were connected from the stomach down. But they had two hands each, two heads, so then they said, the question is how long they were going to live, but then they had to actually put tefillin on both heads. Okay, the next thing is like this. What? Pidyon Ben one. But now the question is like this. Who has Naman? It's a general topic, so we'll talk about it. Today everything is much clearer medically, but years ago, people gave birth. A midwife was the one that gave birth, to help the people give birth. They mixed up kids. They didn't know which one was born first. They thought this one was born first, this one was born first. So the question is, when do they have belief that they say this one was born first, or this one's the Bechor, or not the Bechor? To what extent do these people have naman? So the Gemara says in Kedushin that a chaya means a midwife, is only believed to say this one is born first as long as she's still in the room from the delivery. Once she walks out of the room, then she's not believed anymore. And there's a whole issue generally, we'll get soon to discussing when is a doctor believed. B'chlal, you have a lot of halachic issues where the question is, where do you have a doctor, is a doctor believed or not? Then you have, let's say, a doctor is not frum, it's not religious, it's not Shem Shabbos. Or a doctor was a guy. You have a lot of halachos. For instance, I'll just give you a few cases where you have this question about the trust of a doctor. The Moshe Shulchan Aruch, it says in the laws of Yom Kippur, if somebody is sick, okay, and the doctor says the patient is not allowed to fast. On Yom Kippur, right? He's not allowed to fast. So the din is you trust the doctor. Shulchan Aruch, it says even if the doctor is not Jewish. Because over there, if you think about it, the reason, it's other times the doctor is not believed. So over there, the reason is why a doctor is believed, because he's not answering a halachic question. He's answering a medical fact. Like by nida, a lot of times, the question is, a doctor believed to say the woman became nida, didn't become nida. So over there, you're talking, is a doctor believed on a shaila, if it's, so to be kosher or treif, or pure or impure. Over there, the doctor has to be believed in a halacha. Here, there's a fact. Is this person deathly ill that he needs to eat or not? So then the doctor is believed, even if he's a non-Jewish doctor. Other times, like in Hilchos Shabbos, it's the same thing. What happens if a patient is sick, right? We don't know if you could desecrate Shabbos for them, if they're deathly ill or not deathly ill. We don't know. So over there, a doctor is believed, because again, it's not talking about halacha. He's answering a medical question. Is this person in a life-endangering situation. If they are, then you can desecrate Shabbos. He's not answering halacha, he's answering a fact. Is this person deathly ill that you need to desecrate Shabbos, or are they not deathly ill that you can desecrate Shabbos only through a goy? There's so many different halachos when a doctor is believed, when he's not believed. For instance, a doctor is believed to say that this kid was born first. But there a doctor is believed to say the kid was born first and not born first. So you have all these various, for instance, a mother is believed to say that this kid was born first. There's so many different cases that a doctor is believed and not believed. For instance, okay. Now there's also a question, when is a woman believed? Is a woman believed? So there's a rule in halacha like this. To give you a simple practical question, you're married, you go home, your wife's putting dinner on the table. Yeah? How do you know it's kosher? How do you know she served you kosher food? Now, normally, what's the purpose of a mashgiach, let's say in a restaurant or in a factory, whatever? What's the purpose of mashgiach? Mashgiach is to testify that the product is kosher. That's the purpose of a mashgiach. It's only one person, not two eidim. Normally you need two witnesses. Why is one person believed to testify that the food is kosher in a restaurant or whatever? So the answer is, the Gemara learns out from Sukkim that when it comes to Isser and Heter, forbidden, kosher, with things like that, one witness is believed. If one witness is believed, so therefore a guy testifies the food in the restaurant is kosher. You know, if you trust Ashkachi, trust the person, then that one witness is as powerful as two. He's as powerful as two, by the way. To the extent, what happens, the guy says it's kosher, okay, one witness, and then later a witness comes and says not kosher, you don't believe the second guy, because the first guy was believed already like two. And one witness cannot contradict two witnesses. So the same thing, the din is, one witness is believed. When the one witness is believed, the din is, the Gemara also learned out from Sukkim, that a woman is also believed. Even though normally a woman is not kosher to testify, but in the level of Isurin, because over there the Torah says, one witness is believed. So then, al pidin, a woman, even though she's normally not able to testify, is exercer kosuv, two different whatever, there's two different machlekes rishonim where you learn it out from, but the bottom line is a woman is believed to testify when it comes to Isser. Okay? So therefore, when you come home and your wife puts food on the table, so
women is believed with...
You lost your head, by the way.
Yeah. Oh. With regards to which halacha?
Kosher.
Just that.
No, anything is Heter. A woman is believed to say she went to the mikveh. Yeah, but not in money, not in monetary things. But sometimes when she testifies about a Pidyon Ben, so they're testifying about money. Do you have to do the Pidyon Ben? Do you not do the Pidyon Ben? So that's a question of money already. So then the question is, when is the woman believed?
Was it expensive?
What?
Pidyon Ben, was it that expensive?
How much you have to redeem it for? In today's currency, it's 101, 103 grams of silver. So depending on the price of silver. Silver fluctuates, right? It used to be cheap, now it's not.
What if the Kohen refuses to receive? They come, you do everything, he doesn't...
He can give the money back. He has to take the money.
And then give it back?
If he wants, he can give it back. He doesn't have to give it back. Sometimes they do, especially when it's a doubtful Pidyon Ben, like we said, you don't know if the kid's after a miscarriage or whatever. So sometimes you can technically do what's called matana manas lahachzir. You give it as a gift on the condition you give it back. So then, when you give it back, the gift was a gift. So then the Kohen got the money. Meanwhile, you get it back. Many times the Kohenim give back the money, but they don't have to Pidyon, they keep the money. But there you have to understand, the Kohenim, not everybody has $5 silver. It's actually approximately $5 silver, right? Not everybody has $5 silver on them. So usually Kohenim, that do Pidyon Aben's often. They have the money, so you buy the coins from him, okay, and then you get the coins and you give it to him at Pidyon Aben.
100 grams of silver is about $75.
Okay, maybe, I don't know. In today's value.
Yeah.
It could be, I'm not, but you don't have to give coins. If you did, let's say you have a silver candelabra, a leichter. Yeah? It's 101 grams of silver, not the...
How about if you give gold, or if you give cash?
It has to be the value of 101 grams of silver. You can give gold, you can't give cash.
You can.
Because cash is not, it's a piece of paper. You can't give documents for Pidyon Aben. You can't give IOUs for Pidyon Aben. Has to be, so again, you can give gold, I mean. So anyway, coming back to this point. So sometimes women are believed when it comes to Isser v'Heter, and a lot of dinim, and sometimes they're not believed. Now certain times, a doctor, he said, sometimes you need a doctor that's Shemer Shabbos to testify. Let's say if a woman, in the menstrual cycle, the nida, if a woman becomes a nida or not, so then there's a difference if a doctor is from Shemer Shabbos, if he's not from, he's a goy. There's a lot of differences halachically when he's believed, when he's not believed. But not always, there's certain trust you have to have according to halacha. Saying something? Oh, what?
The doctor says he needs to eat, but the person himself says, I'm sure I can fast.
No, it works the other way in Shulchan Aruch. In Hilchos Yom Kippurim it says, if a doctor says you don't have to fast. No, I'm sorry. The doctor says you could fast. You're able to fast. And the patient says, no, I know I need to eat. So then he's allowed to eat even though the doctor says you don't have to eat. But if the doctor says you have to eat and the patient says, I don't want to eat, Shulchan Aruch it says you force feed him. You actually open the mouth and you force feed him because it's pikuach nefesh. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, Pidyon Aben, let's see. Chol Shabbos, we said. Oh, now there's a question like this. In Shulchan Aruch it says that the doctor has to be a baki. He has to be an expert. So now the question is, what is the definition of an expert? So a lot of poskim, of contemporary poskim, write that today, if a doctor gets licensed, you can assume, like they say in Yiddish, as a kenakrenk, basically, that he knows something about it. So in today's world, a doctor that has a license to practice, he's not a quack, but he has a license to practice, and then he's believed in that. But again, not when it comes to halachic things, unless if it's Shemer Shabbos. Again, not in facts. In facts, even if a Goyish doctor would be believed. When it comes to halacha, then it has to be. Okay. Okay, next. Next goes like this. Is DNA, it's an interesting thing, is DNA valid enough to prove if he's firstborn or not firstborn, or how does DNA work? So, and also you have a bigger question in today's world. Can you prove a murder or disprove a murder with DNA? Because we know now there's a lot of people who are let out of jail after many, many years because the DNA proved they were innocent. So the question is, according to halacha, can you put a person into prison with DNA, and can you get him off the hook with DNA? So now I heard that Rabbonim are trying to figure out that DNA should work according to halacha. But until that's finally paskin, which I don't know if it's going to happen, but according to Torah, when Torah says like al pi shnayim eidim yakum dover, it has to be testimony of two witnesses. It has to be witness, especially to kill somebody. You must have two witnesses. DNA is not going to be valid according to halacha. Meanwhile, what?
To get them out, they should be valid, but because they were never put in the right way by halacha.
Well, what happens if two witnesses, kosher witnesses, let's remember, when it came to capital punishment, Bais Din made the guys crazy. Okay? The Gemara says one Bais Din that killed somebody once in 7 years, or one in 70 years, is called a killing Bais Din. Okay, Bais Din made a guy crazy, the witnesses crazy to try to disprove their testimony. The guy shouldn't get killed. If Bais Din killed somebody, you know that Torah wanted him to get killed.
What's the challenge?
There's a story with the night of Yehuda. I didn't see the story printed, but I heard it when I was a kid. That the night of Yehuda, once a lady's husband was missing, and 2 witnesses came, and the night of Yehuda ruled that the husband died, and the woman's allowed to remarry. That's what he paskin. A while later, the husband showed up. The husband, Kaviyachal, that died, showed up. So she came to the night of Yehuda, what to do? She remarried, but the first husband's alive. This is the way the story goes. Is it true or not? I don't know. The night of Yehuda looked at the guy, at the husband, and he said, according to Torah, you're dead. And the guy died on the spot. Again, is the story true or not? I don't know. But this is the way to tell the story.
What's the challenge with DNA? Why DNA is not accepted?
Because Torah says only according to testimony witnesses.
In the 1800s,